Hello and welcome to part of our series of speaking to really interesting people of an older generation, people that they've done so much and I think they've seen the best of Nigeria. And today, you have no idea how thrilled I am to be speaking to my guest today, Professor, Emeritus Professor, Distinguished Professor, Chief Osato Giwa-Osagie, OON. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
First of all, I want to say thank you for the generosity you've afforded me with your time, answering my texts at 12 midnight, sending you texts. And I'll just give a little bit about your background, just a little bit, because if you know, you probably know him already, but if you know his CV, it runs to several pages. Emeritus Professor was born on the 24th of March, 1947 in Lagos. And it's interesting. His mother's Shekiri, and there's a huge pedigree with the Shekiris, I know, and Delta State. His father's from Delta State. Professor Giwa-Osagie trained at top educational and health institutions in England, USA, and Australia. He graduated from Cambridge University, trained at Harvard University and Monash University in Australia. And he's a recognized expert and consultant to the WHO in several countries. He was Secretary General, then President, then Chairman of the Development Committee of the West African College of Surgeons. And he has, for the past up to 10 years, been the coordinator in Nigeria of the West African Postgraduate Medical Colleges. He was Foundation Chairman of the National Hospital Abuja from 1999 to 2001, and also been Chairman of the Federal Medical Center, Yenagoa. Sir, it's been medicine. You've done amazingly. You've done so much in medicine. Was it always preordained that you were going to go into medicine?
Well, from when I was probably about 7 years old or so, I've always been interested in being a doctor because there were some people who were close to my father. My father was a prisons officer. In fact, he became the first Nigerian to be head of the prison service. At that time, the head of prison service was called Director of Prisons. They now call him the Controller General of Prisons. My father was the first Nigerian to hold that position. He had some close friends from King's College, where he went, King's College, Lagos.
So your father was at King's College?
He was at
and
King's
then you
College,
went to King's College?
Yes, and my sons went
to King's College. Yes. Okay.
And for instance, there was a famous man from Calabar called Dr. B.J. Ikpeme. He was my father's classmate at King's College, an all-rounder, sportsman, and a very successful doctor. He ended up owning his own practice in Calabar. Then there was another classmate called Dr. George Garrick from Benin City, who for many years held the high jump record of King's College.
Gosh.
He had the record for about 30 years, until that record was beaten by the late Victor Manwa Bayo.
Oh, wow.
Victor Manwa. He broke the record after about 30 years. And then there was his first cousin, Professor Tira Bello-Osagie, whose father, Tira's father and my grandfather were brothers, same mother, same father. And Professor Tira Bello-Osagie was a gynecologist. And he looked after the wives of many heads of state. And he was famous for that. And he was the chief consultant at Island Maternity when it started. And relocated to Benin as the professor and dean of the new medical school at University of Benin.
So that's where
So those were the people that were near my father, who were doctors, whom I saw when I was young, maybe 7 years old to 10 years old. And I used to like their swagger. with their stethoscope around their necks. And then when you enter their cars, the car will be smelling of medicines.
Yes.
I like that life.
So you said, I'm going to be a doctor too.
Yes, that's how it started. And that was it.
And then you did gynecology.
Again, I did gynecology because after I went from Cambridge to King's College Hospital, London. Yeah. King's College Hospital, London is famous for producing presidents of the Royal College of Gynecologists. Yes. So many of them were King's College consultants. So I had that influence on me when I was there. Then I had the influence of my uncle, Professor T. Osagie, who was a famous gynecologist in Nigeria. So when I had to make a decision, I decided I wanted to be a gynecologist because you need to see the happiness of people when they have live births.
It's I think it's the happy end of medicine.
Yes. It has nasty parts as well.
But, so in the main.
That's how I went to gynecology. And then I found that I was very strong in endocrinology. That's the study of hormones. And that the specialty of obstetrics and gynecology allowed me to maintain my interest in endocrinology through family planning, infertility, hormonal treatment of various female problems, and with practical surgery, fibroids, ovarian cysts, cesarean section. So I just found that it had the right mixture for me. And that's how I ended up in obs and gynae. I asked for advice. I went to one of my bosses when I was a house officer at King's College Hospital.
Right.
So I went to see a senior lecturer called Dr. John Newton at that time at King's College Hospital. He later became Professor John Newton of Birmingham University.
Oh, wow.
And I said to him, I think I'm interested in obstetrics and gynecology. Then he literally gave me a roadmap.
Oh.
He said, well, this is what you've got to do.
Yes.
Pass your primary first. Then you get into obs and gynae, do the rotations. Then when you have to do your elective, you have to do 1 year elective. Yes. Don't do what many people do. They go and do surgery.
Yes.
For 2 years and get their first years.
My brother did their first years.
He said, no, he said, that's going out of fashion.
Yeah.
He said, go and do research. Wow. Do research, get a master, get an MD. Well, this is what is coming up. And he was very correct in his analysis.
Wow.
Endocrinology, family planning, contraception, infertility, all those sorts, it became more important.
Absolutely.
Management of menopause.
Yes.
And so I did my elective at Leeds University.
Right.
Doing a master's in endocrinology. And so that was before I came back to Nigeria. So I was a lecturer at King's College Hospital Medical School.
In England?
In England. And the pull to come home was very strong.
Well, I was going to ask you two things. One, I know quite a few Nigerian doctors who were brilliant in England, but they felt that their career plateaued. They weren't given the opportunity. And I know some went to Canada, some went to, and also some stayed behind. What made you come back? And two, did you face any sort of challenges?
Well, I was a lecturer at King's College Hospital.
Yeah.
It was a position funded by WHO.
Ah, okay.
The WHO gave the hospital money.
Right.
To employ a lecturer to research into contraception and infertility and so on. And I had got my master's in endocrinology. So John Newton, who was the director of the WHO Center, found me an ideal person because he already knew me.
Yes.
He knew I'd done a master's.
So he was like a mentor to you.
Yes. So when they advertised it, I went to meet him. I said, look, do you think I should apply?
Right up my street.
He said, you should apply. Yeah. We will interview with other people.
Yes.
But I cannot promise you that you will get it.
That's fair.
Which is what he has to say anyway.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I went for the interview. This was about my fourth interview. I'd been to other interviews. I didn't get the jobs.
Right, yeah.
They would say either I'm too qualified or I don't have enough experience. Then my medical school now advertised a position, King's College Hospital. I applied. They interviewed 3 or 4 of us. I was the only person from King's College.
From King's College.
And I got it.
Fantastic.
So now I had some contemporaries who were specializing at the same time as I was.
Yes.
Right? For instance,
from Nigeria.
Nigerians, yes. Right. For instance, Professor Mrs. Bomio Gedengbe.
Right. A woman at that time.
Yeah, formerly Miss Sri Lanka.
Yes.
She had been to Oxford.
Wow.
And then UCH London. And we passed the specialist exams the same day.
Gosh.
Professor Joseph Otubu and Professor Titi John of Port Harcourt. And, there were 6 of us, Nigerians, who passed.
Who passed at the same time?
That was the largest
contingent,
number of Nigerians who passed in one go. Now, of all of us, about 3 went home almost as soon as they got the exams. And so I was conscious of that.
Yes.
And Professor Gedengbe in particular kept in touch with us and said, look, you better come home. A is here, B is here,
yes.
D is here. What are you still doing out there? That's 1. 2, my mother. My mother, as far as she was concerned, I mean, she even wrote me a letter which she said in Benin. She wrote it in Benin. She said that she's like somebody who has no son.
Oh, talk of emotion.
Can you imagine?
Yes, yes.
That I finished and I'm staying
there
in London. That is as if she has no son.
Oh.
Okay. My father probably thought the same, but he never said it that way. Yeah. As far as they were concerned, I went to read medicine. I'm a doctor.
You've done medicine?
I decided to specialize. I'm specialized. I did the master's. I got it. What am I still doing there?
Yes.
And at that time, the economy of Nigeria was very good.
Yeah.
Remember, not long before that, in the days of General Gowon,
yes,
he said that money is not our problem.
It's how to spend it. Yes, yes.
And he
was right.
At that time, yes. And he went as far as to pay the salaries of some civil servants in the West Indian island who were on strike.
Oh.
That's how much money we had.
Yes, we had.
Okay. So there was all that. Then the exchange rate was quite good.
Oh, yes. I think it was
like for 1,000 naira, you get about 800 and something pounds.
Yeah.
So when I converted my salary, my salary here was better than in London. So they gave you accommodation in Nigeria, gave you a car loan. So those were all the things I was saying, come home. Then on the other end, the London end, I was having some experiences which I couldn't tolerate. Because,
like what?
Yeah, I went to King's College, Lagos.
Yeah.
From King's College, Lagos, I went straight to Cambridge University.
Not UI, like a lot of people did at that time.
Yeah, most of my friends went there. UI was good.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
So I didn't accept that anybody was better than me.
You,
I mean, I went to Cambridge. I got an upper second in my tri-postpart 1B. That's the second MB. And then I got a degree in pathology before coming to King's College Hospital.
Wow.
So, and I did very well at King's College Hospital. I was selected to be the house officer of the professorial unit in surgery in preference to English students.
Gosh, yes.
So it was strange for me to go for an interview
and be told you're
too qualified.
Yes. Or you're not qualified enough.
That sort of thing.
Yes.
And all I saw ahead of me was a lifetime of
fighting the forces.
Fighting and disappointment. And I wasn't prepared to take that.
Yeah.
And so those were the issues, the things that made me come. And then my wife.
You had married at that time?
I married after I passed my specialist exam.
In England?
In England.
Right.
My wife is Jamaican.
All right.
And she's a dentist. I was a year ahead of her in university. And I had a chance, because of the research I was doing with the WHO Research Center at King's College Hospital, of applying for a position in WHO as a medical officer. On a good salary at that time was something like £36,000.
Gosh, even now it's a good salary.
Yeah, £36,000 a year.
Yeah.
Tax-free.
Wow.
As a medical officer to supervise various projects in Asia and Middle East.
Yeah.
It was tempting because I could easily fly back from Geneva like every 2 weeks for a weekend. my wife was not prepared to relocate to any other country apart from Nigeria or Jamaica.
That's interesting.
Yes.
She had no problems with coming to Nigeria.
Yeah, no, she had no problem about that at all. And she said, we either go to Nigeria or we go to Jamaica. But I'm definitely not relocated from England to
go
Switzerland.
To Geneva or somewhere.
And start learning another language and so on.
But you speak French.
Yes.
Yes.
Then I applied for a position at Lagos University Teaching Hospital.
Okay.
As a senior registrar in obstetrics and gynecology.
Right.
Which was, I was applying the same position my colleagues had obtained some months before.
Mm.
So the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Luth, arranged for a senior English consultant to interview me in London. So I was interviewed in the London office of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital. About 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, I got a letter of appointment, which I accepted, and they then sent me 4 tickets.
Wow.
For myself, my wife, and two children. So I came home first, and then they came about 2 months later. So that's how I came back to Nigeria. And it was at a time when doctors were resigning from government service.
I remember,
because of a government decree banning private practice.
Yes.
So the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at Luth lost
decimated.
About 10 specialists.
Good Lord, yes.
So I just walked in, or we walked in, about 3 of us walked in. A month later, I was allocated a 3-bedroom flat in the Luth compound.
Yes.
And as I was walking to my office and back.
That was a good quality of life.
Oh, yes. It was, and the compound was fenced and safe.
That's the one in Surulere.
In Surulere, in Yaraba.
Yes.
So that's where...
Professor Duncan.
Yes, Professor Duncan was there.
Omadare,
Lebute.
Yes.
All of them were there.
Yes.
So that's how I ended up in the Luth. It was a real soft landing, so to speak.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, I had hardly arrived in Nigeria. Within months, Obasanjo was head of state.
Mm-hmm. The first time round.
Yes, they cancelled car loans.
Yes.
And the financing of the hospitals was reduced.
Yeah.
Well, they painted the flat for me to move in. But after that, I was the one
responsible for everything
maintaining the flat. So that was the so-called austerity regime that they had in place at that time.
How did that affect the actual running of the hospitals?
Well, it did affect it because, for example, at that time, I remember writing back to my colleagues in England that I finished a cesarean section using torchlight. They couldn't believe it. Oh, my
goodness me.
And they just passed it on to each other. Look at what is happening to Frank in Nigeria.
It's funny, though, you say that, because I have a friend who was in a obstetrician and gynecologist here, qualified at Ireland Maternity. And she worked in England. But if they have any issues, any difficult cases, she's the one they will call.
Yes.
Because she said, I use my phone. We have done the most amazing stuff under the toughest circumstances.
Yes. So, and because the teaching hospital, they don't have the backup generator.
Good grief.
And so the light will go. The electric authority at that time did not see why they should give any special preference
to the hospital. Was that the period when you could see like a dip in Nigeria?
Yes.
A definite dip.
Definitely. And so this led to a strike of the doctors at the Luth.
Yes.
What are we asking for? We're asking for generator and water.
Can you imagine?
Not even salaries.
But isn't it tragic that we're still doing that now?
Well, yes. So eventually, because of that strike, we did get the generator and water.
Yeah.
Of course, as the use expanded, it was still not enough. So whereas now, the Luth management had the wisdom to go for a public-private arrangement where we are getting power from gas.
Wow. So they have that?
Yeah. So Luth virtually has, they don't have power failing for more than 10 minutes.
Good Lord. I wonder why UCH, maybe they've done that at UCH too. I don't know.
They got the financing from National Treasure or something. Oh, wow. We have a fund. Nigeria has a fund. The Wealth Fund.
Yeah, Wealth Fund. Yeah, Sovereign Wealth Fund.
Yeah, they are the ones that brought the money out. Yeah. And so we have the normal electricity line. Brilliant. Then we have normal diesel generators. Then we have the gas power generator.
So you have plan A, B, and C.
Yes.
That is so forward thinking.
So when you are in Luz, for the last 4 years or so now, if you are in Luz and the power goes on, just stop what you are doing and just wait. Within 5-10 minutes, light will come back. Absolutely amazing.
But what I find, I find it heady, all those brains together in one place at one time. You've kept your finger on the pulse of the medical field in Nigeria. What do you see now compared to those days where you had all these brain power, all these enthusiasm and dynamism?
Well, you know what will shock some people?
Yeah.
But I'm one of the people who have started this Academy of Medicine Specialties of Nigeria.
Right.
Which is supposed to be the highest level of medicine specialties. It's difficult to become a fellow.
Well, yes.
I'm one of the foundation fellows. I started with Professor Ashiru, Chief Dr. Sonny Kuku, and Professor Wowo. We had that brainchild.
Yeah.
And we started it. We have about 150 fellows now.
Right.
And
based in Nigeria?
A few from outside.
Okay.
But mainly based in Nigeria.
So what do you have to be? Do you have to attain a certain level of expertise?
That's what I was about to go on to, just to show you the amount of brain power this country has.
Still.
We are reviewing for membership people who had applied.
Right.
And we only accepted 5. 5. And,
as against what you would normally...
I thought we would have like 30 or 40 or 50.
Good heavens, yes.
The majority didn't get through the hurdle. And if you see what work they are doing, but you don't know. You only know if you're in their area of interest.
Yes.
And these are Nigerians.
Using the tools we have here, with the limitations we have here.
And increasingly now, those that give grants abroad know that Nigeria has a lot of brain power.
And they're taking them, though, aren't they?
They're taking that. And I don't call it brain drain. I call it DNA drain. They're taking our DNA away from Nigeria.
It's scary.
And the earlier the government realizes that, the better for everybody.
But they don't seem to get it. One of the ministers apparently said, let them take, we have many more, or something ridiculous like that. I read an article, I think it was in the FT or New York Times, I can't remember, about the latest wave of brain drain in Nigeria, that it's not like before. Remember the days of Andrew? Well, they said these ones are not going to be easy to replace because the education system that brings these people out has been decimated.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So what this is where we are, sir. What are the easy, low-hanging fruits we can do? The governments, the people, wealthy people can do to get to where we want to be.
I'm going to say something controversial.
Okay.
But I'm quite certain.
I'm up for it. Controversial.
That's not controversial for the ordinary man.
Yes.
When you see the amount of money the National Assembly members collect,
it's obscene.
All right? It's obscene.
I'm joining you in that controversy. I do believe it's obscene.
And we have been saying this, or this has been said for the last 10 years. Yet successive members join them who you think will correct the problem and say, I don't want to be part of this system. They just sit down there and collect their millions every month.
Money corrupts.
Okay? Now, the first thing that you have to do, apart from the general policies of making sure people can eat, and making sure that you have roads up, jobs can be there.
Yeah.
Look at my small hospital where I'm talking now.
Yeah.
I have 3 generators. So I pay all that out to buy the generator and maintain it. It's
literally burning your money.
Yes, we still pay tax.
Yes, well.
There's somebody sitting in Abuja collecting millions every month. Now, you said low-lying fruits that we can take. First thing you can do to slow down brain drain is to increase the amount of money people take each month.
Yeah, salary.
Yes, because however dedicated somebody is, if he's dependent only on his salary from government,
he'll starve.
He'll have difficulties. And okay, you tell him, well, why do his children have to go to a private school? Why not? Is the private school meant for people with 3 heads?
The one that really upset me personally, and I have an interest in education, is seeing pictures and images and social media of ministers' children graduating when children have not been to school in university here for 7 months. I'm sure we all do it. If it was my child and I could afford it, I'd do it. But why rub people's faces in it, especially if you're collecting salary from their hard-earned money?
Well, the other day, within the last 6 months, I saw a photograph from America.
Yeah.
Some wealthy person from northeastern Nigeria, in the north.
Yeah.
And who donated so much money to an American university because 2 of his daughters graduated.
Oh, gosh.
The money he donated can be shared between 20 Nigerian universities, and they'll all be so grateful to him for life.
How do they feel even collecting it from him?
So those are some of the things that are wrong, because if somebody donates that kind of money abroad, the first thing the tax people should do is to go and meet him and say the tax on that is so.
Well, it's plebs like us that they'll be running out.
Yes, people come to my clinic to ask for tax.
Yes, I know, every day.
Somebody came from the tax authorities after the COVID break, so to speak.
Yeah.
I asked the person, how many patients did you find downstairs? He said 2. I said, all right. So, well, you still want me to pay the tax I paid 2 years ago. Where is it supposed to come from?
Yeah.
So you have to improve the conditions of service of the essential services, which in this case includes the universities and the medical and so on. And your police.
The conditions of the police are heartbreaking. I went to Falamo and I just could not believe the way they live.
Yes.
And that's heartbreaking.
You see police wearing tattered boots.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to put their chest forward for the bullets of the kidnappers on your behalf.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Well, maybe I'm sympathetic to uniform services because my father was in the prison service. So if you want to reduce the DNA drain, I call it, take action to improve the conditions in which those people that are draining away are working.
So what do you think of the political situation at the moment? Because people say we're at a crossroads.
We are at a crossroads. There are people, as you said, when you look at my CV, people wonder where I found time to do anything.
You're amazing.
about medicine. I'm the sort of guy that throughout my career, I've never taken leave and stayed at home just to rest. If I take leave, I'm going to some conference or something or the other. As I got older, I'm going to London. London is my second home because I spent 13 years there. So I have residence status. So, and I paid tax there when I was working there. So I'm entitled to everything there.
You're going to get a pension as well.
Yes. I must go and sort that out. I'm entitled to the pension.
It doesn't hurt.
So some people, right from when I was in my 40s and 50s, they will be on leave. They'll be at home. They say they are resting. And I wonder how I can stay at home doing nothing for 1 month. I'm busy socially.
Yes.
Ikoyi Club, Island Club, Yoruba Tennis Club.
Gosh.
Police Officers Message. When I was younger.
Yes.
Now I'm predominantly Ikoyi Club.
Love.
Because it's just about 10 minutes from my house.
Yes.
And
but you're very into your Benin heritage and your
yes, I'm very lucky and I'm happy that I have a Benin heritage. The royal families in Lagos have always expressed openly their linkage to the Benin royal family.
Yes.
And so the royal family, all the way to Onitsha, Ogwashuku, Iseluku, all of them are linked to the Benin royal family. I'm very happy I'm from there. My father was a chief appointed by Oba Akenzwa, the second. Yes. And I'm a chief appointed by Oba Erediawa, the son of Oba Akenzwa. So that is the linkage. My father was number 9 in the hierarchy. I am number 10. So we we have a meeting of the chiefs of my line once every month, but the Oba can call us to the palace whenever there are issues, whenever there's a meeting, whenever visitors are coming. And those who are in Benin, obviously, they answer the call. Yeah. People like me, I'm an external member.
Zoom?
I'm a chief in diaspora.
But what about this return of the Benin bronzes?
It was such a happy thing for all Benin people.
Yes.
I was there when they first made contact. They came to Benin and I was there. But when they actually handed it over, I couldn't make it.
Yes.
Because I'm in Lagos, I can't always react fast enough.
Yes.
And because the Benin version of what happened in 1897 was that the British wanted to come to Benin during our Igwe festival, which is an annual festival that is done in Benin, led by the king. And they were told, don't come now, we are busy with traditional things.
Come later.
And they wouldn't take that for an answer.
Gosh.
And they decided to come, and they were waylaid by some warriors led by one of the chiefs of Benin.
Preserving their heritage.
Yes, the Ologbo-Sere of Benin.
Ologbo-Sere.
Yeah, he led them, and they attacked them. And so they killed a few of them. So they went and now brought a whole army and bombarded Benin
and sacked Benin.
Sacked Benin and stole everything. Well, that was the mentality of those days.
Yeah.
When you
pillage. Yeah.
When you win, you take everything.
Yeah.
So they took all those things away, and the things spread around the world. I remember the day when I was in England, I went to the British Museum.
Gosh. Somebody called it a crime scene.
In the basement, come and see Benin coral beads.
How does that make you feel when you see it there?
I felt very sad, but I didn't know we would be able to get them back.
Or some of them. Yes. Certainly the British Museum is not giving
some.
But some people were saying that them being there actually did enhance the world's knowledge of the Benin heritage.
Yes.
So it has served a purpose.
More people got to know about it.
Yeah.
Secondly, there is no doubt from what we have seen that if it was our own people who pillaged Benin, we will not see any of the things.
Yes.
Because they will just mishandle the words, and some will be used to keep doors open, and so on and so forth.
Well, those who did not know, but I think when I spoke to Charles, who's another chief from Benin, he said those works, they were not works of art. They were historical records. They had cultural significance.
Yes.
They had spiritual significance. So people maybe of a different culture who didn't see the value but recognized it as art, they saw some value in it. But our people would have seen it as a spiritual thing. So they might have kept it, or maybe they might have been afraid of it and maybe destroyed it. I mean, that's some kind of argument.
Yes, that's true. And when I started seeing European countries return things to Ethiopia, and to Greece, then I felt, well, there's hope. Then you had, of course, the campaign for reparations by the late Moshood Abiola.
Yes. It's amazing. It's that far back.
Yes. And the president of Benin, when he was in the foreign service, also kept lobbying that our works should be returned.
Yes.
Of course, what will happen? The young people, Fitzwilliam College at Cambridge.
Yes, it's always the young.
Yeah. They just took a resolution that they should return the one that's in their college.
Yes.
To Benin.
I think it was one.
Yes. They returned one. Then I think Edinburgh also returned another
Jesus
one.
College, I think, also.
Yeah. So these educational institutions returned what they had in England and in Edinburgh, I think. Yeah. And then others are still coming in.
Yes. So where are they going to be kept, or where are they kept now? And what is the plan?
There was an unnecessary controversy over that between the governor of Edo State
and the Oba.
The Oba owns those things. They are royal treasures.
And historical records, as I said. Yeah.
Yes, the governor has every right to say, these things are in my state. But it should be that I want to help you to preserve them. Yeah. This is my plan. They are yours. No, I'm not arguing with you. They are yours. Let us do this together. Here is the drawing of what I want to do, and I'll do it, and you can manage it. Yeah. Which is about what they
eventually are
doing now. Uh-huh.
So it was unnecessary, like you said.
It was totally unnecessary.
The controversy.
And people were taking sides, which typical, you know. And but now they've settled down. There is like a trust.
Okay.
And a committee or council that has been created to look over those sort of things. Yeah. In order to keep them, you're going to spend money.
Yes.
The temperature has to be well controlled and security.
What's the plan for that?
Well, they have a plan for it. Okay. The Oba said he will give up part of his land.
Right.
In the palace there. Yes.
There's security issue. Mm-hmm. There's maintenance issue. There's also training issue.
Yes. They'll get a lot of help from museums abroad. Yes. Because they're all very willing to do those kind of things. Yeah.
Well, one thing that was suggested is that we could actually lend these things back like a traveling exhibition, and they pay us royalties.
Yes, you can do that.
And that will
part of the treasures can travel around the world.
Exactly.
And that's how Tutankhamen went around the world.
Went around the world.
Yes.
It's amazing.
You go around, it goes to Holland for 3 months. From there, it goes to Sweden.
Yes.
Then to Russia. And so on. It's heavily insured.
Of course.
And everybody know that these things exist. They belong to Benin people.
And the funds can actually be used to develop what we have at home.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts? I'm really fascinated now that the Queen died about a week ago. I'm fascinated to hear your thoughts on the British monarchy, this relevance to Nigeria, and especially with your Benin history and the colonial issues.
Well, I intend to write a letter to the King Charles.
King Charles, I was calling him Prince, yes.
And also to the British High Commissioner in Abuja. Yeah. Commiserations, etc. And then to point out my own link with the royalty in England.
Right.
I was a young man when the Queen came to Nigeria in 1956.
Gosh.
I was very young. I was 9 years old. I was in elementary school in Port Harcourt.
About 9 years old?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then we were all taught a song in Igbo, which I still remember till today. And we said that called Uloma. Uloma should come. Let us greet the white queen in Igbo.
Yes.
And we're all given Union Jack's flags to hold by the roadside.
Yes.
As she drove past in a Land Rover with Major Ironsi, later we call Major General Agu Ironsi, standing by her side as her equerry. I remember it clearly.
Yes.
Okay. Then secondly, I went to Cambridge.
Right.
And I was a year ahead of Prince Charles at that time. And we used to have lectures. I was reading medicine. He was reading anthropology.
Anthropology or something like that.
And the lectures were in a place called the tennis court site, they called it. And as I rode my bicycle to the tennis court site, there he would be walking, followed by a private detective. The detective would follow behind him.
Giving him a lift.
Yes. So that's the second encounter I had with them. The third time was when General Babangida and his wife Mariam went on a state visit to England.
Oh, gosh.
I was in the entourage because Mrs. Mariam Babangida was pregnant.
Oh, gosh.
And I was looking after her.
Oh, wow.
So Professor Sadiq Wali was the chief physician to the president.
Yes.
And I was the obstetrician.
To the wife.
To the wife.
Yes.
My uncle had been obstetrician before. He felt now that he was getting old that he ought to let me do the job. So I went on that trip, and Professor Wali was staying in Buckingham Palace.
Oh, wow.
I was staying in Westminster Hotel, about 10 minutes walk away.
Yes.
And I was given a special pass that allowed me to enter Buckingham Palace in the morning.
Yes.
So by 8, I would be in the palace. I would walk straight to Professor Sadiq Wali's room in Buckingham Palace.
Wow.
We'll have breakfast together.
Was it a nice place? I hear it's very utilitarian.
Very nice, very posh.
Oh, right, was it? Okay, yes.
And then we'll be together all day, whatever the Babangidas were going,
Yeah.
we will be them.
In the entourage.
We will be in the same car.
Okay.
You know, following them.
Yes.
If you saw videos from those days, you will see the general and his wife. Then you will see Sadiq Wali standing almost behind Babangida, and I standing almost behind Mariam. That's how we were throughout our stay there.
Yeah.
And then they had a dinner banquet.
Yes.
In Buckingham Palace, and I was there. You know,
on that visit.
On that visit with the Queen, I was there.
Yes.
Okay, that's another encounter.
Yeah.
Then when Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, and Princess Diana came to Nigeria.
At that time, gosh.
Okay, I happened to be the acting head of gynecology at Louth.
Yes.
And the labor ward at Louth was new, modern, new, well-equipped. And they decided that they wanted to see the new labor ward at Louth. So I was the one that had to show Prince Charles and Princess Diana around the labor ward.
Gosh, I bet you told him we must stop meeting like this.
Yes. So on the day of their visit, I intentionally wore my Cambridge
tie.
full colors tie.
Oh, you got your full colors.
In athletics, yes.
Oh, wow.
He saw it. He said, that's a familiar tie. I said, yes. I said, Hawks tie. He said, yes. What sport? I told him. He started laughing. And
did he get any colors?
I don't know. He was playing polo mainly.
Oh, right. Yes, that's true. Yes. And
I had a photograph. The photographer, pressman, got himself, myself, Princess Diana. In fact, if you look along the corridor before you enter my room,
I'm going to take a picture of it.
You'll see it there. So that was another experience I had with the royal family. So I have a story to tell.
Yes.
You can see the 4 instances.
Absolutely.
And,
in fact, he's your new best friend.
Yes. So
you and the king.
I'm going to write to him.
Yes.
And to write to the High Commissioner.
I'm sure he'll be very interested.
So I know they will note it down. Now, this man seems to know these people very well.
Yeah. Now, Prof, you've been... you've been so amazing, and I could listen to you forever. But I have some questions that I want to ask you. Are you sitting comfortably?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, what remains for you to do on your bucket list? What is the one thing left that you still want to do that you haven't done yet?
Well...
Or do again?
I would have loved to have been given a chance to manage either health or education in Nigeria. Yes, or education.
We really need.
Yeah,
we need.
I would have loved to have that opportunity.
Okay, well, from your mouth to the ears of God, it will happen.
Yes.
I as I say, we manifest it. Yes. So Sunday morning, church or chill?
Now, as a young man, as a child, church
they
was
make you go to
automatic.
Church. Yes, you had no choice.
Yeah. Then I went to King's College.
Yes.
Church was automatic.
Yes, chapel.
You got punished if you didn't go to church. And then I got to Cambridge, and I found that they
were not godly at all.
They were not godly at all.
It's for the colonials.
Yes. So I stopped going to church because in a college like Clare College, you go to the chapel on a Sunday. You are lucky if you find 20.
And they will all be old.
Yes. Yes. And so that continued until I moved to London and I bought a house in a place called Streatham Hill.
Okay.
And my house was directly opposite a church.
Right.
So we started going across
Church of England.
Church of England, yes. Yeah. We'll go across to the church. The Reverend knew us. Okay, you end up with old people.
Yes.
If you are lucky, you can get to 50 in the whole church. The church got sold and converted. And then we came back to Nigeria. When we got back to Nigeria, there's some very good Christian environment within Louth compound.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
There was a church there, and there are now about 2 churches serving the Louth community, plus a mosque. There are 2 Anglican churches, a Catholic church, and a mosque.
Yeah.
So we got back to going to church.
And are you still going?
Yeah, I still go to church, maybe 3 times a month.
Okay,
I go to the Cathedral Marina.
That's high church.
Yes, high church.
High church.
Yes. which was where I was confirmed when I was at King's College.
Yes.
So I still
So you've
go
come
there.
full circle now.
Yes, I'm back to where I started.
Roots, yes. Okay. Now, who do you admire most?
I'll answer that in a stratified way.
Okay.
On the world scene, the person I admire most is President Mandela of South Africa.
Right, yes.
Absolutely fascinating man who had suffered so much and had no bitterness.
That was unique.
It was almost
I don't think I could have
Christ-like.
done it. I'm not sure I could have done it.
So when I see what he went through, how he came out
27 years
and ensured that nobody committed atrocities in his name.
And then he left after one term.
He did one term. He could have stayed there.
Yes.
And then maybe he would be corrupted.
Absolutely.
He's my number one person, you know. Now, in the profession, particularly because I'm a gynecologist, the person that I admire most is another gynecologist.
Okay.
There is a professor in Ibadan.
Right.
Called Professor Wole Akonde.
Wow.
He's Emeritus professor. He's a King's College old boy, but several years my senior.
Yeah.
He's 82 now.
Is he still practicing?
No, but he's in retirement.
Yes. Yeah.
When you look at his
achievements,
he trained at Ibadan, and when Ibadan was still being
UI was amazing.
He was there. Yeah. From there, he went to Oxford to specialize. Yeah. Then he did a doctorate in Oxford.
Wow.
Came back to Ibadan, became a professor, became a dean, that's now known as provost.
Yes.
Became chief medical director of UCH. Yes. Then he went off.
Abroad?
He went out to Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
In the early days.
Yes, when people were leaving Nigeria.
Yeah, but he didn't abandon his job. He finished his tenure and then he went. Yes. From there, he went to the WHO.
Right.
And became what they call a manager in charge of Africa and Middle East.
Fantastic.
It's a very powerful position. Yes. And when Professor Akonde was in that position, he did all he could legally to push up Nigeria. He was inviting people like me to come for meetings. Yeah. And I got into committees at WHO.
Because he knew what you had to offer.
Yes. And he really helped Nigeria in that position. Yeah. And he retired.
Is he still in Ibadan now?
He's in Ibadan, yes.
Wow.
That's his base.
I'm going to go and look for him.
Yes. If you go to UCH out of Wole Akonde, they'll tell you where he is.
Because I remember that period, everybody said they were so glad UCH had got its shine back when he was medical director. And they were so scared when he was leaving. He was amazing.
It's like, in a way, it's like the young man, well, I say young, he's in the 60s, who is now the chief medical director of Luth.
Yes.
There has been so much improvement in Luth in his time.
Yes.
And he's going away early next year. So everybody's worried now.
Yes. Because you don't know what the next person's going to do.
Yes.
And then, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? Because I know you have a right to live in England.
I have a right to live in England as a resident.
Yes.
If I was to choose somewhere else, I would go to the West Indies.
Ah, your wife?
Yes, I'll go to the West Indies.
Jamaica?
Jamaica, yes. Okay. Because that's the biggest of the islands.
Yes, of the islands.
And then in the West Indies, I'll be able to still work because they use English.
Oh, yes, that's
true. Then,
and your qualifications will be recognized.
Recognized, a British qualification. Yes. And I'm just like 30 minutes from Miami.
Oh, yes, that's true. And then you can go on your cruises.
Yes. So I will go to the West Indies if I couldn't live in Nigeria. But the truth is, for many of us, the only thing that will make us abandon Nigeria is if there's war.
Yeah.
If there's war, people will take up because the experience of the last war is that there's no point you're losing your life.
No.
If you lose your life, you are forgotten immediately.
But the trouble with that mindset that people are saying is that if we start out with that premise, then nothing changes because they know you will never fight for things. And it's very difficult to get change. People don't give up power willingly. It has to be taken. Yes. So how do we do it when they know at some point they know you will never fight them?
Well, that's
what's
why
going to happen?
I saw a saying somewhere a few days ago. It said that if you don't take an interest in how your country is ruled, then you soon be ruled by fools.
Yeah.
You don't just face your medicine or business
your own little
admin,
niche,
artwork.
It will, whatever it is, they will come and affect you.
Yes,
eventually.
you have to have some meaningful contact.
Yeah.
Either through surrogates, family, and so on, as to what is going on.
Yeah. If you could change one thing, what would it be?
If I could change one thing, there's one thing that has impact on a lot of things.
Yeah.
I will make sure that everything in Nigeria is done on merit. The worst thing that happened in Nigeria was this so-called quota system.
Yeah.
It was meant to protect the North.
Yeah.
But when the North got political power, they shredded that quota system.
Or was this? Somebody said, I read in one of the books, I can't remember which, you burned down the bridge that brought you across.
Yes, that's correct. So nobody else can come across.
Yes.
That's what's happened.
You burned down that bridge.
Even if you look at the various regimes, Babangida, Abacha, even Yaradua, some attempt was made to balance the appointments.
For some equity.
Yes. But the last 2 years, we've forgotten about that.
Yeah, last 6 years, probably.
Yeah, so, but the danger is when there's somebody else there.
They're going to do the same thing.
Who says,
it's our turn.
It's our turn. I don't accept this.
Yeah.
Then there'll be an outcry of marginalization.
Yeah.
That's the danger we all have.
So you would change our quota system? Would you change our constitution? Would you restructure?
I would definitely restructure.
Change the constitution. Then.
Yeah, because if you go back to when we had 4 regions.
Yeah.
Okay. Nigeria was far, far better off.
I know.
Because once we started breaking up, we broke up into more and more till you are 36.
Yes.
So
it could be more, very soon.
Yes, and you have to have 36 governors, PAMSECs, directors, etc., etc.
Local government areas.
Yes. Government appointments became a way of life.
Yeah. It all comes down to what you said, isn't it? Change one thing, let it be on merit.
Yes.
So we bring our best foot forward, always.
We don't. I'm very pleased that to read yesterday so that our president was advised and has done the right thing in terms of the athletes.
Right.
Give some of them national honors and sharing money to them.
Thank goodness.
People paid 100 million for the form to stand the election.
That is obscene. That is
so
obscene.
he's giving 200 million to be shared amongst all of them. Hallelujah. Well, it's something.
Yes. Yes.
They really salvaged our name.
And we needed it. We're in such a dark place. It was like just having something, anything to make us happy at that point in time.
So to have these girls come now, set world records, fantastic.
But also their journey, because they've been plugging away, like that Aluko girl. She's been plugging away for years. She's not just a flash in the pan.
No.
She's been working and she's been inching up and inching up. So what is your favorite book?
My favorite book, when I look back through the years, Chinua Achebe's
Things Fall Apart?
Things Fall Apart.
Okay. The trilogy, No Longer at Ease, and what's the third one? Do you know, I saw the first edition that was illustrated. Was it illustrated by Bruce? It was going for, is it $17,000? I couldn't do it. I mean, that was a classic.
That's a real classic. And when you look at the drama and then the politics that he was describing, it's like what we're having now.
Exactly. But also I think it's very closely, if you look at the parallels between that society, what happened to them, and the Benin society after the sacking, the culture, everything disintegrated, the empire disintegrated, everything disintegrated.
Yes. Well, last week, I was instructed by the Oba of Benin to be one of a delegation to represent him at the 200th independence anniversary of Brazil.
Oh, wow.
So they had a cultural evening and dinner at the Eco Hotel in Victoria Island. So I went there with Prince Agatise, the brother of the Oba of Benin. Chief Ganyu Adams came, the Areona Kokau for Yoruba land. We were all there. It was a very, very pleasant evening. Now, the Consul General for Brazil told us, I didn't know this, but some of the other guys knew, that when Brazil became independent 200 years ago, that after United States and Argentina recognized it, the Kingdom of Benin was the third to recognize them as an independent country. Because there was no Nigeria there.
At that time.
The Kingdom of Benin recognized them. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Going across the oceans to Brazil. So I said, well, you learn all the time.
Incredible. So what is your favorite song?
My favorite song is, one is If I Had the Wings of a Dove.
If I had a wings like a dove. Which version? I will
fly away over the mountains. Fantastic song. A very uplifting song.
Yes.
Very uplifting song.
Is that the song that your children will, once they hear it, will say, that's my dad?
No, because I've never really told them. But my wife knows that I like it.
Oh, that's your favorite song. Right. I will hope to play this for you one day. So are you watching any movies at the moment, or do you have a favorite movie you always go back to?
Recently, I've only been going to violent James Bond movies.
Yeah, but they're quite good for passing an idle hour.
Yes. When I'm in London and sometimes on TV here, we see them. They are so violent now.
Yes, they are.
The very last one, they killed James Bond.
What, do you think he's going to come back?
Well, they've killed him.
So they say.
He was sent on an assignment.
Yes, I saw it.
Then they sent an atomic bomb to the place.
Yes.
And he couldn't come out before.
So you're a James Bond fan?
Yes.
Yes, Ian Fleming.
That's fantastic stories, James Bond.
I know. But some of those movies were not actually written by James Bond. They made it up by Ian Fleming after he died. Yes. And they're still as good.
Yes.
Now, sir, would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Hardworking.
Yes, I know that.
Considerate.
That's true.
Friendly.
You're incredibly friendly. And can I add charming?
Thank you.
No. Because, I met you for the first time a week ago, and we just hit it off. We were joking and laughing. Yeah, definitely.
I think sometimes people take life too seriously.
Life is too hard as it is.
Yeah, and it's so difficult to survive in the world at the moment, particularly
in
now.
Nigeria, yes, there's so much.
You shouldn't make it harder by being too serious.
Yeah. Okay, this is the bit that I like. And some people find it a little bit challenging. Please tell me a joke.
A joke?
A joke, yes.
Oh. Which joke can I tell?
It could be a dirty joke. It could be a smutty joke. It could be a happy joke.
Oh.
It could be a dad joke. Or even a funny story.
The story, you may have heard this, of course, of they said it was an ophthalmologist that was retiring in a British hospital.
Yes.
So it was an eye specialist, and then they gave him this painting of a huge eye.
Okay.
And then he said, wow, suppose I was a gynecologist.
Oh my goodness, that is a good joke. That was a really belly laugh joke. I love that. And it had to be a medical joke.
Yeah, that's a medical joke.
A medical joke.
Doctors joke a lot, you know.
Well, they have to. It's called gallows humor.
Yeah, because our job is so serious.
It's stressful as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And life and death in certain circumstances. So that was a brilliant joke. Thank you so much, Emeritus Professor.
You're welcome. Come again.
Oh, thank you. And next time we're going to have lunch, no interview. We just gist.
Yes, that's good. I'm all for that.
Yes, thank you. And please remember to subscribe and give us a rating. And thank you.
Yes.
God bless.
If I had the wings like a dove,